Welcome back to Andertons TV.
Hey.
Today we are talking about Strandberg guitars. And to be totally honest with you, when we first took Strandberg on as a line, we instantly thought, right, let's invite Connor on, because it's that kind of guitar, right? This you have to be young and shreddy and good and...
And shredded as well.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
And then Pete had one of the Boden Essentials for a bit, and actually he was like, well, I like it as well.
It was a funny, that's a funny thing that, if that story, because I've always wanted to play one of these guitars. And as you mentioned in the video with Connor, that, you know, the Boss one, when that came out, that was the first time I really got to know it. And it was just a fleeting moment. But they were like, can we send you one? We got this new thing coming out. We'll get to that in a minute. And I've always wanted to have some time with one and play one, but never had. So yeah, anyway, so I got that, and that is just, anyway.
So yeah, so I just thought, or we all thought collectively, you know what? This is a bigger video than just, you know, finding somebody that you almost would naturally associate with this style of guitar, you know. And through the store as well, we've been selling these for about 2 months now, and it's blown me away how many, just like, I know this sounds bad, but like older guitar players that you just wouldn't think have bought these for reasons we'll go into. So welcome, Connor, again for your second video on Andertons TV. If you want to see the first one, it'll be up there. Welcome, Mr. Pete, for your 946,000th video on Andertons TV.
But I've been excited about this, man, honestly. So, but go on, I'm so excited about this stuff.
So you're pretty invested in the whole Strandberg range. You've been playing them for 10 years and you've got your own signature one coming out. So you're probably the right guy to sort of go, I've got a standard here. So I'm guessing this is the closest, this is a Boden shape. So I'm guessing this is the closest to what they started with, the original Strandberg.
So the Boden shape started Ola's story with making guitars, really. And he hand-built everything from the ground up. And he even, I think he originally just made the hardware, and then he sort of realized, like, well, look, if we've got the hardware, let's make the whole guitar. And I think the custom orders just kept coming in and coming in. So he just said, look, let's make this a production thing. And years gone by, and here we are with loads of different models now that you can choose from that are built on that Boden architecture.
So we're going to try and give you a rough idea of what the range encompasses. Yeah, 2007 it started.
Wasn't it?
So you
but
just
he was a software engineer, wasn't he?
Did he? I thought he worked for IKEA.
Yeah, everyone from Sweden just always for IKEA. It's the Hyckladalen.
So anyway, so I guess we're gonna try and talk you through the range. There are fundamentally two different shapes and then multiple variants of how do you want pickups and trem systems and frets and all that kind of stuff on those guitars.
Yeah.
I'm going to refer between Pete and Connor all the way through about just what's your opinion of, I suppose the dominant aspects of this guitar are the body shape, the neck carve, and its headlessness. There's many other things about this guitar, you know, like, as Connor said, it's all proprietary hardware, which is kind of cool. But I think the three dominant things that you'll have an opinion on, positive or negative, will be body shape, neck, and no headstock. So let me start then. I'll start with you, Connor. You know, just start with the body shape. I'm just interested in what drew you to the body shape, and then I'll ask the same question of Pete.
Yeah, I mean...
we should also say as well, you've got the other shape, haven't you? So
yeah, so this is the Sälen. They're kind of similar guitars. You just have the telly single cut thing going on here, and this is more of the typical Strat double horn vibe. But they're identical necks, identical kind of cuts here, and obviously both still headless. So the thing for the body shape with me is the fact that there's nothing there that doesn't need to be there. It's kind of like a revolutionary way of thinking about a guitar. Like, how many guitars you played, there's so much like material here, and whilst that kind of looks cool, does it have to be? And I love that Ola asked those questions to himself. Like, I can put this here and sit very comfortably. I can put it here if I want to. Some people play it like that on that leg, and that's just not going to happen with a traditional style guitar. So,
No.
like, I mean, that draws me towards the body shape. Like, it looks cool. It might not be for everyone, but even if you don't like how it looks, you can't argue with that. That's nice and handy, you know?
Similar vibe
I don't know.
for
The
you?
first guitar that really caught my eye, of course, with this one.
Blackguard.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember thinking, I've seen them before, and then it was like, oh, they're just a bit sort of gimmicky, you know, because I thought, and I didn't really know what it was, but then I saw this, and this is also the Sälen, so that's that T-style sort of shape, and I don't know really. I mean, I think it just sits, as you said, it sits either like this, balances, or it sits like that. I mean, it's not going to balance like that, but it's just so easy to sit with at any, and it's almost like your posture helps your posture play in a you know, like when I started playing guitar, classical guitar, it was the old stand for your left foot,
Right.
and then it was this vibe, and actually if you look at that, classical players, you put your foot on the stand, this guitar sits there and there. So however he came up with that idea that this is the perfect position for that guitar, as you should play classical guitar, you know. And then, you know, you teach people, go, put your thumb back down, you just smack it and put it back down, and you learn all that stuff. All of this, the whole thing of the guitar, we'll get to the neck in a minute.
Yeah.
It's completely ergonomical, correct in the way he designed it. And that's, I mean...
Let's talk about, I'll stay with Pete as you've just mentioned now. So the second element, and probably in my opinion, what Strandberg's become most famous for is the EndurNeck design. He's actually patented this.
Yeah.
Meaning, and I bet you all the other manufacturers are gutted because this is pretty revolutionary.
Yeah.
So you've essentially got, well, 4 sides to the neck, 3 on the back and a playing side, if you like. But you know, designed, I suppose, to try to sort of guide your thumb. Do you want to take, because it's not symmetrical, right? It changes as you go down the neck.
So if you can see here on the neck, it does go. It starts sort of here, and then it's wider up here on this side, and it's narrow down here, narrow up here, and wider down here. So when you start out, if you want to put the classical, how you really should play guitar hat on, you normally have your thumb on the back of the neck, right? That's how you're taught if you're taught classical music. And then that thumb, as you are here, I don't know if you can see that as a camera, as you move down, it moves with the guitar. You know what I mean? So if you're here, it moves around with the guitar as your hand goes like this. And that's why it's perfectly fit. And also if you have the thumb here, it does the same thing. That your thumb has less surface, what is it called?
Area?
Yeah, and more down here. So it just fits the same with this side of the hand. It goes like that. It's perfectly designed. It's weird.
Yeah. I would guess
how comfortable it is.
I would guess going back to if we're going to refer, I don't know what a different word for a shredder is, but if you see those players that are typically playing sort of with a classical style and more of their fingers over the fretboard, rather than perhaps the traditional sort of rock and roll style of thumb over the front and that.
Yeah.
Is this a? I'll come back to because I'm interested in playing a more traditional style, but in a modern style.
Yeah.
Do you think that this neck design is actually a step? Well, what's the right word? Do you think it enables you to play better than a traditional?
You know what it enables me to personally do? It enables me to play for longer. So in those long practice sessions, I used to have a fair amount of pain in this particular muscle between my thumb and first finger from gripping down on like a typical C-shaped neck. And you practicing for long, you want to get better, don't you? And this isn't such, it doesn't force you to do anything. Like we've just been saying there, like you can play with your thumb over, it works. You can play with your thumb on this plane. I do this one a lot.
Yeah.
You'll probably see my thumb sticking out behind the neck a lot of the time. And down here, I usually put it like that. It doesn't force you to play it that way. It guides you and it helps alleviate some of the stress. Like if you think about this plane here, if you're going for a big bend like that, you've got a lot of contact to press into with your thumb. And rather than it just being a curve and your thumb kind of like follows the curve, you've got a completely flat surface to dig into. So bends on these things, I mean, I love it. It's
super easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's also, so even if you're sitting with the guitar like this, I find if you put the guitar like this in your hand, and as you normally would do, as you just slide down the neck, your whole hand would do this, right? And it fits. You get more surface area attached to the thumb as you go down as well. So even if you're sitting like a normal blues guitar player,
yeah, right,
like that, it actually it's just enables you to. It just fits with. I mean, I can't explain it, but that's why I always was interested in it. I thought, no, I can never play that. It feels completely wrong to me. It looks completely wrong. I can never get on with that. I can never get on with the fan fret. We can get to that in a minute, but it's just so natural. And it's the concept of, we talked about earlier, Connor, you mentioned in the video, that Fender and Gibson, the guitar industry, is doing the same for the last 70 years or 80 years or whatever it is. You know? And they haven't moved on. It's not like guitars where you get all this extra stuff in now. It's just the same wood with a piece of wood on it. This is the first bit of innovation.
Yeah. Let's talk about, so I think, and again, this is where Pete and I were perhaps surprised, is that it doesn't, the perception is, I won't like that. It'll feel uncomfortable, and it really doesn't. Frets wise, Ola's designs use a sort of an extended range, so the scale length is longer on the heavier strings, shorter on the thinner strings, to get that little bit of extra tension in the heavier strings.
Yeah.
And of course, as a result of that, you've got these sort of compensated fret positions. So this was quite interesting, and you referred to this as the neutral fret, right? So the neutral fret is the one that's completely straight across the fretboard. So on the 6th string, the neutral fret is the first one, and then they gradually begin to fan. But actually, it's so bloody weird. If you look at the guitar like this, the frets are actually all in a straight line. Like it's not. Anyway, so that then as you go to a 7 string, so the 7 string, the neutral fret is slightly further down the fretboard. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, they've got more of an aggressive fan on the extended range instruments, the 7s and the 8s, and it's to make it even. It amplifies that effect even more.
Yeah.
Like you don't really need it too much on a 6, but like I play in drop D flat, sometimes drop C, and just having that extra scale length, it's not like a baritone, but it gives you like a little hint of that rather than it being all straight. And the bends on like the high side are a bit easier too.
How light is that, by the way? I just picked that up. Oh, it's so light.
If either price is a little bit of a consideration on the standard series and upwards, or just the multi-scale fan fret thing is just freaks you out too much. In 2024, they announced the Essential Boden, which, as you can see, has a lot of the aspects of the standard, but the obvious one is it's not multi-scale and therefore isn't fan fret, but it still does have the EndurNeck and everything like that. So you can go down that road. Anyway, thank you very much. So lastly, I suppose it's headlessness. I'm going to ask 2 things. You can talk about it from a functional, what's it like to functionally play a guitar with no headstock? And I'm interested, Pete, in just the aesthetic. Is there? So you go first, Connor, and then.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's a couple of things with it being headless. Obviously, the first thing I noticed when I got my first Strandberg is when you sit down, it looks quite strange. You probably had that similar impression. You expect something to be there. You almost expect something to pull as well. You're so used to compensating for that dive, aren't we? Like, you play any traditional guitar, it's just how things work. There's a bit of weight up here, it's going to pull. Second thing I notice is I do a lot of home recording, and I can be sat at my studio desk, and you know what it's like. You're in creative flow. You're doing things as fast as possible. Got an idea here, just put my guitar here. Let's just get the keyboard out, put the guitar here. Let's just get these drums. Oh no, that's too quiet. And it's so nice to be able to throw a guitar around and not worry about, hitting the studio desk, dropping it. Like it's going like this every time you let go of it. It's so nice to just chuck it here and then just I mean, that for me, it's a game changer. I spend like 8 hours a day sat with this thing.
Obviously, so you're now clamping the string at this end and tuning it from this end. So it's almost the reverse of a I don't know, a traditional style guitar.
Yeah.
Are the ratios of these tuners, do you find that they're better, worse, or much the same as a good set of 6-string tuners? You've got no, well, you have got a nut on here, but there's no movement through the nut in the way that a conventional.
I mean, I like the fact that, you know, you swap out a string, you pull it tight all the way through here, and then you tune it up just as easy as ever. And the cool thing with these, like, these are so accurate, you can kind of set them and forget them. They keep tuned really well. So I've always liked this system, and I mean, I've always joked saying, like, I bet I can string up one of these faster than like a Strat.
Well, we should do that.
Yeah.
We'd have to see if we can do that.
Because definitely faster than a Floyd, whether or not faster than a Strat, I don't know. But
Bixby.
And aesthetically, do you? I mean, again, I know I'm still slightly.
It's weird. Aesthetically,
it
looks weird because you're used to looking at something. But then people moan about if it's not a Fender headstock, they moan that it looks wrong.
Is there
so they can't moan about the headstock, at least on this one.
Where's your, like? Do you worry that without that visual anchor point to sort of go, look, you know, you can. You all just sort of know a bit like a striker sort of says, I know where the goalposts are before I take. Yeah. Do you sort of go, without that, I'm like, hang on a second, is that A or is that A or is that A? I'm not sure. You know, it's like
I did that in the beginning with the other one. And you sort of aim. You think you aim somewhere because I play a lot. You know, I can play in it. You play in the dark a lot when you gig because nobody cares about the musicians at all. They just stick you in the dark in the background. But you know, and you get used to where it is, and you get used to looking at something up here, whether it be like a Les Paul or Strat, whatever, and it's not there. I mean, aesthetically, I like guitars for their differences, you know, and that's why this is such a cool guitar, because it's fresh. It's not like anything else. It's not like, here's another S-type guitar that looks exactly like it, but the headstock is slightly different because they've got that, you know, can't do that. Or this is like Les Paul, the headstock is slightly different, but everything else is the same. This is completely different. And that's why I like it. And I don't mind it doesn't have a headstock, you know, and you know what I really like on this? I love this saddle here. Yeah. How, it's so smooth on the hand. There's no, you don't scratch yourself or anything like that. And you can't just accidentally do that with the tuners. Like you can if you knock something, or your kit will go over, or somebody goes and they do that. There's no, you're knocking a bit, then you go out of tune. It's just you can't do that with that.
Do you think if you were doing a set and you had 3 or 4 different guitars, do you think one of them could be headless and you not struggle? Do you think? I'll start with Pete. Does like every guitar have to be headless?
Oh man. Okay, so I've got so PRS and these, taking them to play like a wedding gig or like a birthday party, 50th, but whatever, I would feel a bit weird playing it because I think PRS just looks so beautiful and these just looks a bit strange, out of place somehow. Where Telecaster or Strat just looks like it looks normal. Yeah. So you look at it, it looks a bit weird, doesn't it?
So I still think that every time I see a headless guitar, it's a bit like, to be totally honest with you, if I see a guitar player walk out with a Steve Vai gem, I'm expecting.
That's really interesting.
It's
interesting you say that.
And I'm expecting anyone to be able to play as good as you can if I see.
Absolutely, it's become synonymous. Whatever.
Somehow I feel like that we need to sort of change that.
There's a lot going on as listeners, like an audience. When you see a guitar, there's genres associated with it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, you see a Gibson, there's genres associated with it. You see a Strat, there's all this stuff that we've all grown up with. You've seen Strats and Gibsons for 50 years. We haven't seen these for 50 years yet. If you think about the history of the electric guitar, it's been around for like 70 years. That's such a small... It's like maybe 3 generations of people. Like, I wonder what these will look like and sound like and feel like to people in 2100.
We need relic ones. That's what we need.
There probably will be
This is
in 50
exactly-
years, right?
This is exactly what I said. I would say to the team,
Oh,
all in the
Ola,
team.
there you go.
I would say if you can make one of these, but look like one of these,
There you go.
with the relic and everything in purple and everything. I mean, wouldn't that be cool?
It would be cool.
And actually, this is as light as this one.
But
Anyway,
I know certainly. So I suppose
so
the
cool.
perspective of the idea, we've obviously got two great players here, but from different playing backgrounds, and there was. I think you can go as a tool to make music on. You're both on quite a similar page as to what you like about the guitar, and then interestingly, as you get into the aesthetic and the emotion that it conjures up, one of you is, sort of going, yeah, I'd practice on it at home type thing, and I get it. Might use it in the studio, or whatever. But would I do a gig with it? And obviously, that's not. You don't consider that or worry about that.
I would
at all,
actually use it on a gig.
Would you?
Because I want to know and learn how that is. I've taken my PRS out on a gig as well, and it's great. But I just feel it's the feeling that it gives me. I feel a bit weird and out of place with such a beautiful instrument in my hand, and I'm scared of. I'm almost like scared of digging into it, But that's because I'm not used to it. But
we have
I think this
somebody
so
that
cool,
we used to have on Andertons TV quite a lot, but I won't mention his name, who feels the same about his PRS. Just like, I don't really want to gig my PRS because I'm worried about what people will perceive me as a guitar player.
Oh,
I turn
really?
up with that rather than my old Strat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I would love to play this on a gig and see. I would if I had the gig. I would take that with me just to see what it was like.
I've just said to these guys, I've been having all sorts of back and muscle problems over the last like 2 or 3 months, which I absolutely know is because from the minute I get up and get to work, I'm either sitting at a desk doing something or playing guitar or sitting at home watching TV.
Yeah.
That's my bloody life, And actually, I've got to the point now with guitars, if I'm playing, I actually practice standing up now because it's too uncomfortable to sit down. But I might get one of these for purely that.
And a dress?
And a dress. No. But no, just purely that reason.
I was interrupting you. What were you saying? You were asking the question before and I interrupted about how would you feel like you look like with the guitar. It's not like that for you, is it? You feel completely at home
I
with
actually,
it on gigs.
I think I take a little bit of pride in it, As a young guitarist, you enjoy no presumptions being made. Like, you turn up, people are like, whoa. It's a bit of a head turner, for better or worse. Like, you get one of these out and people are like, okay, what am I going to expect?
There's signs in the crowd, I love you, Pliny. But, well, look, no, that's got to be an age thing, hasn't it? There must be tons of things.
It's what you're used to.
Exactly. You
right.
grow up, you like certain car styles, certain fashions. It's just an extension
And again,
of that, isn't it?
or the whole thing. That's another.
I feel like we're in a real transition period, going from you've seen 2 generations of guitarists, I think, and I think it will happen again when I'm 60. Do you know what I mean? Like, it will happen again to me, and
it's coming around.
Yeah,
it's like,
everything's cyclical, and I think it will just
be buried with my Les Paul by then, so I don't care.
like this.
And loads of valves just scattered in my coffin.
and like money, because there's not card and stuff, like there's money in it.
Let's hear some different ones. So can we? Let me start with start with the standard.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like this is where it started, or pretty much where it started. This is a 2 humbucker version. And in fact, why don't you have this one, Pete? Because that's basically the same guitar, so same body shape on the Boden, but an HSS version with a trem system.
And I'll just show this bit here in the back, how that just sits in as well. So, and then up over there, and it's just so well done, isn't it? Honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like a S-type.
So I don't know if you guys just want to literally just do a strum a few different sounds. Is that now? So what are these? All his own proprietary pickups in here?
I believe in these. These are now their own brand Strandberg pickups that they make at their factory, and all of the Bodens, I believe, come with like a 5-way switch. So you get your bridge, both of them, and then your neck, and then in between, I think you get just this one, and then I believe this is the 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
You get a few different
there's two
sounds.
sort of general conventions there, isn't there? You're either switching between the inner and the outside coils.
Yeah, I could
in
be wrong.
position 2 and 4. No, I actually think you're right. I think position 4 is just a coil tap neck
so.
pickup, and then position 2 is that sort of out of phase kind of
Yeah.
sound. But let's have a little listen on
Yeah.
that, and then we'll do the same on the one with the trem and the HSS.
So I'll go through like a few different pickup sounds, and you can kind of hear the difference between them.
Standard volume and tone.
Yeah, yeah.
What do they string them with? Are these nines?
10 to 46, I think, D'Addario.
I think they're 10s, yeah.
I feel like 10s.
Tremendous,
Yeah.
tremendous, excellent choice of guitar string. Whilst Pete's tuning, I will just show you the trem system is kind of interesting here. So if you buy a Strandberg with a trem system, the strings go through the end of the micro tuner, and then you essentially run it through the nut up here and lock it, as Connor was saying
So
before.
easy, isn't it?
But actually on the back, it's a pretty conventional style trem system. So you've got a slightly shortened steel block here. And obviously unlike a Strat where the strings are going through the block, they're not, it's just there to anchor the trem system to it. And then a claw and a couple of springs. And I was just sort of, it's a very familiar feeling.
Yeah.
It's a great design, it looks good.
Yeah, it does.
And it's all, there's no sharp corners, no sharp edges for your...
I think I liked,
Great
was it, you were saying that's right, because when we were bringing the guitars up, it was like, if there isn't a trem arm, don't worry, because I can still kind of
You can still
do
put-
that, which,
yeah, you can
which I
still
thought,
pull on
actually,
it
yeah,
and
you
stuff.
can, that's kind
I'll
of
tell you
cool.
what you can get.
Anyway.
So this is a little thing that Engel makes. They make the amplifiers, but they also make this kind of thing, which can sit in here, and you can lock
Oh,
it
yeah,
into
yeah, like a
place.
tremolo nose
So that-
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even on these guitars, stuff like this will work. It's very
I
conventional.
like the sort of fact that the nod to John Mayer by just not putting the backplate on. Even John Mayer has basically permutated every guitar design ever in some shape or form.
Yeah,
so.
even these things.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, I'm going into a real amp here, and not because I hate digital, just because it's different, right? So I saw you were going like this on the back.
Yeah, I like doing that sort of stuff. If you
He likes
the
to do that.
flutters.
the flutters and stuff, yeah, they
Very
work.
Steve
He
Vai.
likes to do that. We're going to have to show.
We will.
Connor that. It's nice. Look how I'm sitting, Lee. Look how I'm sitting. What's going on? Position 4.
Yes!
It does that too. So that's position 2. So that's position 2. What? Oh, that's 3. Sorry, 3. Now it's position 2. And then humbucker. Super balanced, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's super balanced all the way through. There's no split or anything in it, so. Bit of the Dane on top. Blues licks, isn't it?
And that, I
Sounds
think,
great,
is
man.
where the familiarity will appeal to any guitar player at all.
Yeah.
Is that whether you've got a 50s Les Paul or you're playing the most modern, whatever it might
You
be.
can still
Music
play.
Man.
You can still play a blues lick.
Yeah, they're all, fundamentally the same
Yeah.
basic sound. So that's standard series, and
Yeah.
again there are 7 and 8 string variants of these. Do you know what? My range knowledge isn't good enough. Can you get both of these with or without trem, or is the humbucker one always hardtail and the HSS
I believe it depends
always
on the
trem?
runs. I think that at the moment is the only way you can get with the trem,
Right.
with the HSS, and then this is the way you get the hardtail.
They do a version of this that's not flamed and has got a scratch plate on it as well. I thought I saw on the website, but I'm not sure. No, with HSS on
Well,
it. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of
Dive on
different...
over. Yeah, do you know what? We say lots. Actually, there's a surprisingly not endless amounts of different designs. So you can just go to the Andertons website and they're pretty much all there, and we try to stock them all the time. So
the one I really missed was that jazz one. What was it called?
There's an F-hole one,
an
isn't
F-hole in
there?
it, like a semi-hollow.
I tell you, it's been crazy in the 24 hours prior to Connor coming in to do this video. Like half the Strandbergs we were hoping to include in the video got sold.
Yeah.
So
Which is
anyway,
good.
look.
Good.
Let's just show. I mean, Pete, you got to show this very.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the Sälen shape.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you. Actually, it doesn't really matter. So this Sälen is the sort of standard catalogue Sälen,
Classic.
with the chrome
Solid.
pickup covers, and then this one is a relatively finalised signature model for you, but not 100% finalised and not due to be out till the summer. But you can kind of see. Are they the? Have you picked different pickups for yours compared to the standard?
Yeah, so that's bare knuckle juggernauts in my signature. That's a solid body as well. This is actually chambered.
Oh, you gone chambered on yours?
Yeah, and I went for Swamp Ash, and that one is a Kume, which I've never ever heard of before.
Matata.
It's a Kume is. I'm going to
It's a
get a
mahogany,
shot here.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's an Indian variant, not Indian, African variant of mahogany.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they can't call it mahogany as such. Maybe that's what it's kind of is.
Yeah.
There was
call
some.
me Matata,
There
that's
was
always
some.
what
No,
it
there
is.
was some sort of Indian and African average flight speed of a swallow gag coming out there somewhere. But anyway, old people will know.
Yeah,
what I'm
your
talking
sons
about.
have
Right.
all
Well,
those
look, you
dogs.
play the standard one then, because people have.
Right.
If you've watched some of the other videos that we've done with Connor, you've probably seen him playing this one quite a lot. So we'll just play the standard one for now. Thanking you.
Oh, sweep!
I'm slightly struggling to come up with an ergonomic reason to choose Boden over Sälen. It does just feel like it's an aesthetic, or do you? Because you've
Originally, the Sälen started out as the interpretation of the telly. There's
Right.
no forearm contour on
I
that.
see.
But as they've kind of made it a bit more modern, like with mine, it has the
Yeah.
cutaway, and that's just solid older, I believe.
I think
Kind
this
of
is-
like,
Yeah, that's older. Yeah.
so it's very reminiscent of a telly.
Yeah.
But mine's sort of like a modern take, even on the Sälen model.
But wood doesn't make a difference.
What do you think, ladies and gentlemen watching?
not
Do
having
you-
that conversation
Do you have
today.
a preference on the shape? I just noticed the strap button is in a different position, so it
Yeah,
probably
right.
does
Yeah.
just hang a little differently.
It also feels...
They always do, Lee.
Yeah, but it's an interesting one in that I wonder what the I have to ask Ola. In fact, Ola, if you're watching, maybe you could comment below. Because I'm absolutely convinced Ola would not have done the Sälen without a more justifiable reason for changing the shape than just the look. I would imagine there'll be some scientific
Maybe not. Maybe
reason.
it's just a. I mean, this is definitely. You don't have. Do you have the same? No, you can get higher up on that, can't you? I think this one gives you more access with your thumb up here.
I think they've all got similar...
You know what? You're right. So my
with this one,
second
you
or
can't
third, second or
sure.
third finger easily gets to
Yeah.
the 24th
I mean,
fret.
you can do it as well, and I can do it because we are. Anyway, but yes, I think. See.
Yeah, marginally.
Yeah, but it's enough, isn't it?
Anyway,
I mean, the look is enough for me. I prefer this shape here, but
I mean, I'm loving the nod towards, you know, the no-caster kind of vibe with this.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Do you think it's more than just a bit of a, you know, a slightly sort of novelty nod? I mean, do you think it's just if you're into Telecasters but you want this guitar, is that the one to buy?
Yeah,
It
but why
probably
wouldn't
is,
you?
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, why not? If you want something that's a bit, but it's not familiar anyway. It's just familiar looking. There's nothing familiar. But this and this couldn't be further apart. Other than, yeah, they're both guitars.
Tonally,
right?
maybe it's just a vibe.
Yeah, but yeah, is it though? I mean,
Well, let's hear it.
yeah. It's just got that. It's got that spanky telly vibe
It's
thing,
got it,
you know.
right? It's got it.
Absolutely, and everything. If you got older and you got, you know, maybe. With a bit of Dane on it. I love it. I think it's great.
Okay, look, we're just going to end now, I think, with a jam
So light, man.
where these two guys, one of you is going to play the Essential and one of you is going to play a 7-string.
Do you want to do some quick sounds with the Essential, though?
Okay, yeah, that's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
So it does that too. I feel like the
Do
Strandberg
some of that
is.
stuff, yeah.
I feel like it is not tied to a genre. Do you know what I mean? Like I can play anything. You sound great, and it also does
You
this
sound
thing.
great.
Thank you, mate. And it also sounds good for, you know, it does the thing. And that's the stock pickups that come with the Essential, and I mean, it sounds amazing.
Is that 3 position or 5 though now?
It's still
the Essential?
5.
So it's still 5 positions.
So you
same as
still
the
get
previous
like,
one.
even on something like, you have your little.
That's very much that sound. Like
is.
Don Connon, Revere, that split.
Yeah, that split
no,
sound.
but you love it. It is that sound. It's funny because that split sound with that gain thing on it.
Gate,
It's just
the
such
tight
a
gate thing,
it's
yeah,
such a
like-
distinct-
But you still have like, you can go to like a lead sort of.
Come on, we're running out of time
Can I
here.
just
so,
play that and
yes.
see what it sounds like just some guy playing
Yeah,
bad blues mix on
absolutely.
it?
So please I hope you've enjoyed this video. Strandberg, honestly, whatever your personal taste is in music, I think there's a compelling reason to try one.
Try one, yeah. Absolutely.
Before you make a decision as to whether it's for you or not. But I am very, very pleasantly surprised, not just personally, but also how it's been received by our customers as well. Let's hear Pete play the Essentials. Obviously, this is the most affordable one. Comes in 3 different solid colours, of which one of them you can only buy direct from Strandberg and the other 2 you can get from dealers. So hopefully you like one of the colours that you can buy from dealers. Or Strandberg, if you're watching, hopefully you'll let us buy some of the other ones at some point. Yeah, check it out. And then I think I love it. So you go full 7-string, flame top, tremolo, awesome prog, and you stay on that for the final jam. And I will.
That's gonna be fun.
Vacate and let you two find some happy ground. But yeah, let's just see.
So, it's punchy, isn't it? Sounds great, man. Sorry, not to make this video any longer. What did you feel when you're playing this, going from a fan-fretted one? There's like, you're a little bit different, right?
You know what? I forgot.
You forgot?
But that's it, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's so it's so slight on the 6 strings.
Yeah.
You don't even realise you've gone from fan to straight.
No.
I think the thing the fan does is really helpful, but it isn't essential, which is why
essential.
That
it isn't essential.
It's why it works, right? You know,
it's weird, isn't it? Because actually,
it probably feels
this
more
guitar
like
and this neck.
Feels
it's
like
almost like that works really well with this whole setup.
Yeah.
And this is not alien because it isn't.
So just to be clear, you're saying actually you think you prefer the fan fret with this
because I've just
neck.
been playing it, right? It's like going from a Music Man, which has got a much slimmer neck on it, not this way, right? And then to a normal conventional C side. It's the same. It's just
I think
only a tiny bit,
time
but
will
it's enough
tell,
thing
won't it, as to whether or not this kind of guitar can live happily within a family. You know, like you can have a Strat and a Telly and a Les Paul, and you can have one of these and it's fine.
You should.
Or whether this becomes one of those guitars that sort of takes over, and you end up going, no, I just need to have Strandbergs, or I just need to have conventional guitars.
No, have your work. You need all the tools in your box, man.
All the guitars.
You need all of them because they tell you a different story. All of them.
Yeah.
That's why it's good. You can't go. I can't play this 7.5 or 7.2 quarter-inch radio as well because I can't play. I have to have steel frets. I'm like, try it all, man.
I do think
try
that's
it all, you only live once.
that's the thing that surprised me is that nothing that's different about this puts me off.
No.
Like when I just start playing, I'm not thinking about the neck carve, I'm not thinking about the fan frets, I'm not thinking about its headlessness, but I'm just going, it's just a comfortable, nice guitar to play.
Yeah. And you don't hurt afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Look at my posture difference. So it really makes me want to sit up rather than that sort of terribly unhealthy.
That's what I do. It's going to catch me up in 30 years.
It will do.
You like that, yeah. When
Even
you're 65 like Lee.
Come on, look, I'm out of here. You two jam out.
All right.
And thank you so much again, Connor, for coming down.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you, Pete.
Say like and subscribe, you forgot that.
Like and subscribe, you forgot that.